Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. This is our parent webinar for the Canvas Learning Management System. My name is Abi Brar. I'm one of our facilitators for this morning. I am the Director of Curriculum and Technology in Acalanes, and joining me is Aida Glimi, our Associate Superintendent of Curriculum and Instruction. We have a webinar set up for you where we will go over Canvas and how to use Canvas. And as a reminder, this webinar is being recorded. We will post it on our district website after we are completed today, as well as there's an option for you to ask specific questions in the Q&A link right at the bottom of your screen. There should be a button for Q&A. We will do our best to answer them as those questions are coming in, and we'll pause throughout the webinar and address some questions that should be addressed for the entire group. So with that said, we'll get started. Thank you again for joining us, and I hope you find this webinar helpful. I'm going to share my screen back again so that you can see the slideshow that we've put together for you. So to get started, our goals for today are to show you how you can create a Canvas parent account, to walk through how to use the Canvas parent mobile app, to how to use Canvas using the website, the web portal, and then a few quick tips and tricks on how to use Canvas. So let's jump right in. If you have not yet created your Canvas parent account, you can create your account either using the mobile app or using the website. You don't have to create an account in both places. Just one account is the same account you use on your phone, on mobile device, on your iPad, or on the website. So we'll get started first with the mobile app, and then we'll go to the website next. So the first thing you'll do is either on your iOS device, your iPad, your iPhone, or on an Android device, go to your app store and find the Canvas parent app. Canvas makes 3 different apps, one for teachers, one for students, and one for parents. You're looking for the Canvas parent app, and the parent app has the blue Canvas logo on it. The staff and students have different colors. Once you have downloaded on your device, the very first thing you're going to do is click on the Find School button. As soon as you click on that, it will take you to a screen where you can search for our district. We have one account for the entire district with Canvas. So you're searching for Acalanes Union District and not specifically your child's school. So if you start typing in Acalanes, you'll see 2 options come up. The very first one will say Acalanes Union High Parents. That's the link that you should click on. And as soon as you do that, it will take you to a login screen for Canvas. On this login screen at the very bottom, you'll see a link that says Create Account. Please click on that Create Account link at the very bottom, and then the next screen, you will enter your information. So you are creating your own account in Canvas. You'll provide your name, your email address, and a password. In the name section, it doesn't delineate between first and last name, so please make sure to type in your first name space your last name so that we have your entire name in Canvas. And the last thing that you need to set up your parent account is called a pairing code so that Canvas knows who to connect you to. And the pairing codes are unique codes that are generated by your student that they give to you when you set up your account. So let's walk very quickly through how a student creates this pairing code for you to observe them. And Canvas has lingo and terms that are going to be unique, and they'll take a little bit of time for us to learn. So anyone who is a parent or a guardian in Canvas is called an observer. So your child is looking for a pairing code so that you can observe them in Canvas. What your student will do is they'll go to their own account in Canvas, and under their account, they will click on Settings. When they do that, on the very right side of their screen is an option that says Pair with Observer. When they click on that button, it gives them a alphanumeric code that they have to share with you. And this is the pairing code that you use to enter in during the registration process to create an account for yourself. Every observer has a unique pairing code. So if both parents want to observe their child in Canvas, the student has to generate a separate pairing code for each parent. So you can't use the same code for multiple users in Canvas. So remember that, please, and tell your child to generate a unique pairing code for each parent or each guardian who's going to observe them in Canvas. So those are the steps to use when you are setting up your account using the parent app. On the website, the process is similar. Again, through our school websites or our district website, you will click on the Canvas parent login link. And on the login screen, you'll see a link that says parent of a Canvas student. Click here for an account. And you'll follow the same exact steps. You'll enter your name, your email, password, and then a pairing code, and then you will start participating. Again, you just have to create one account, and you can use the same username, which is your email address, and password, both in the app and in the website. The two systems, the app and the website, even though they access the same information, they serve different purposes. The Canvas Parent app allows you at a very quick glance some very basic information. It doesn't provide a lot of detail. When you are looking for more detail, you want to dig deeper, I would recommend using the website. So if you're looking for a quick information, how's my child doing, what are their grades in the class, the Canvas mobile app is a great tool to do that. So let's walk through how to use the Canvas mobile app. When you first log in, you will be greeted by a screen that shows you your child and their list of their classes. Now, we've created a test student who we've lovingly called Ryan Reynolds. So right now, this is me as an observer of Ryan Reynolds, and this is what I see. And we enrolled Ryan in some sample classes. These are not real classes. These are not Ryan's real grades, but just to give you an idea of what a parent experience is like in the app. So when you're in the app, on the top left is your user menu. In the right next to it, if you have multiple children, if you're observing more than one student in Canvas, you have a student selector. So if you click on that little drop-down button, it allows you to pick from a difference between all the students you're observing, and so you can see a list of their classes and their grades. In the middle, like I said, is a course information summary that gives you the course title, the course code, which is the shortened version of the course title, and the student's current grade as published by the teacher. And at the bottom is navigation, where you see three buttons: courses, which is the main screen, calendar, and then the alerts. Let's dig a little deeper on each of these sections and what you can find in there. So if I go into the menu on the top left, it allows me to get to my parent Canvas email inbox. It also allows me to manage students. If I need to add more than one child to Canvas, I will click on Manage Students and I can add more students. This is also where you set up some alerts. You can click on Help and it takes you directly to the Canvas company's help section. You can change user if there's one device that two parents are using and they want to use their own account. You can change user or you can log out. One thing here that I want to point out that's very, in my opinion, very helpful is when you click on Manage Students, it allows you the option to set some alerts for yourself. So let's say you want to be alerted if your child's grade exceeds a certain percentage. Like let's say if I want to know if Ryan has a grade of 95% or higher, like he's getting an A+. I want to give him a kudos. So I can set an alert for myself of a course grade above a certain percentage. And I also want to know if my child's grade is dropped below a certain percentage, like if they are going, okay, they're on a B grade and they're going to go into a C grade area, then maybe I can set it at 80%. Or if I just want to know if their grade is below an A, then setting it up at 90%. You can even set further alerts for assignments and to get alerts if there are any announcements from the course or from the institution, from the school itself. My recommendation is to set alerts for just the grade to see what your child's current grade is so that you know if their grade is above or below a certain percentage. So that's a helpful place in Canvas to set up some alerts on the mobile app itself. These alerts are for the app itself and not necessarily for the website or to get email notifications. We'll do that once we get to the website. The second thing that you see, or the second area that I want to show you, is on that home screen. Again, if you were to click on any of those courses that your child is enrolled in, you get to see more detail. So if I were to click on Physics of the Universe course with Miss Watson, it will take me to more detail for that course. And there are two things that I see in there. One is the grades tab at the very top, and it shows me by assignment what my child's grade is in that course. And then the other option is to see the front page, the home page that the teacher is using. And in Acalanes, we're asking all of our teachers to use the home page as the course agenda. So you'll notice that Ms. Watson has information here for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday classes, and Thursday, Friday. Notice that she has information for what's happening in class. And if you were to scroll left or right, you would see homework. Now, on each of these screens, you can, of course, scroll up and down. If there are links that the teacher has enabled, you can, of course, click on the link and get more information. But again, the app is designed to give you quick information that you can use. For more detail, I would recommend that we go to the website. The other thing that you see at the bottom of the screen on the mobile app is calendar. The calendar feed, when you click on it, it will show you all upcoming items that are due for your child. So in this case, Ryan has on the 10th today has 4 things that are due. Now, these could be assignments. These could be items that the teacher has marked a due date in Canvas. So it could be a page that the teacher wants their students to see, and there's an attachment of like this viewing is due by this date. It could be a quiz that's due on a certain date. So anything that has a due date attached to it automatically shows up in the calendar. Again, clicking on the item takes you directly to that place in Canvas to show you more information. And the last thing on the bottom right that you see is alerts. If you choose to set some alerts for yourself, those alerts show up in that area. And finally, in the app, if you want to send a quick message to any of your child's teachers, there are multiple places where you will either see a little icon for sending a message or the inbox in your menu where you can send a message to a teacher. Again, Canvas lingo does not call it email. Canvas calls emails conversations. So wherever you see anything to do with a conversation, that actually is their term for an email message that you're sending to the teacher and then the teacher replying back to you. So that, in a nutshell, are the quick view of what the app looks like for the parent. We're gonna do a live demo for the web portal so I can walk you through directly, but I'm going to stop sharing my screen and pause here for a sec and ask Ms. Glimi if there are any questions that came up in the chat that we should answer right now.
Abhi, there was a question about deleting alerts, which I'm not sure if you will address later on in the notifications. If a parent has 100 alerts in their app, which I know you will talk about setting up your notifications, can those be deleted as a mass deletion, or does the parent have to go in one by one to delete them? The
alerts that I want to be very specific on separating the two things. There are alerts that happen in the app itself, and they just automatically just keep going, and you can turn on or off the alerts. Canvas does generate a lot of notifications, and we'll talk about notifications just a sec. And you can delete notifications in mass, or you can delete them one at a time. And I'm going to show you how to set up your notification options so you're not getting bombarded by 10, 15 email notifications every day from Canvas. So we'll go over that in just a moment.
Perfect. All other things I'm answering in there. So
fantastic. Thank you. The next thing I'm going to do is actually take you to our district website and walk you through on how to use Canvas from there. So I'm going to share my screen again and take you to our district website. So from our district homepage, we have Canvas accessible in a couple of places. If you scroll down under the quick links option, you'll see the very first link is Canvas LMS. Also on the menu bar at the very top, the navigation bar, if you were to come to the parents section, the second item listed in that list is Canvas LMS. Clicking on either of those links will take you to our Canvas support page. where you'll see the login for each of the different users, for staff, for teachers, for students, and for parents. Notice the different colors. So the parent app has a blue color, and that's the login link that we have for parents. Before we log into a parent account, I also want to show you a couple other things that we have on our website. So if you need directions for how to create your account, we have PDF files for both the mobile app and the web portal. So you can always go in here and look at the directions for how to create your account. We also have a couple of videos on our district website that walk you through the very basics of the Canvas parent app and the Canvas web portal for observers. Both of these videos were created by Canvas, so they're very general and broad in their approach. They can cover every type of user that Canvas, the company, has. This webinar, as soon as we're finished and have the recording available, we'll also post it on this exact page. And then towards the bottom of this page, we have linked a lot of guides and resources for you where you can find practically answer to any of your questions that you may have. And I want to caution that when you go into the Canvas guides for parents, if you open that link, at first glance, it is going to be overwhelming because they have a lot of information available. Usually when I get asked a question about a parent account or it's doing something as an observer in Canvas, this is where I come to find the answer. So we've made that available to you. You can always come and find that here. So let's jump right into a parent account. You will click on the link that says Canvas Parent Login. I have created a parent account for myself that I'm going to log in right now and look at what Ryan is doing. So you'll notice that the interface on the web looks very different from the interface on the mobile app. In the web account, on the very left-hand side, you see a navigation bar. Canvas calls this global navigation. It is always there no matter where you are in Canvas, and you can always click on the dashboard link to come back to your home, your landing screen. So that's global navigation. In the middle is your dashboard where you see a course card for each of the courses that your child is enrolled in. So in this example, Ryan is enrolled in 5 different classes. Again, these are not real classes, but your child will have at least all of their academic courses from their teachers. And most of our students are also enrolled in a couple other courses. One is a school-wide course for school-wide information that's being sent out. So you'll see course cards for your students. And on the right-hand side is similar to the feed that you saw in the app, is a coming up feed that you see. And it shows all the upcoming things that Ryan may have to do as homework or assignments that are coming up. And then at the bottom, at the very right-hand side, you see an option that says view grades. And I think for me as a parent, that probably is the most important place. So we're going to start there on what happens if you click on view grades. So if I were to click on view grades, it'll show me Ryan's classes and all the classes he enrolled in and the current grade that Ryan has. Again, because this is not a real student, you'll see that grades are all over the place. Ryan currently in Algebra 2 has a 2.29%. That's a very, very low grade. But in these other classes, you're doing pretty good. 100% in the experiment course and 83% in the physics of the universe course. If you were to click on any of these links, it will take you into that course and you can see more detail for why the grade is the way it is. So I'm going to pick the very first class to see why Ryan has such a low grade. Clicking on that link brings me into that particular course and to the grades section of that particular course. And you'll notice that I have options to sort the assignments in a particular way. By default, it is sorted by the due date, and then every single assignment and the score that my child has shows up in that column under the score. Notice that anytime there's an assignment missing, Canvas will put a little icon that says missing, bright red, that you hopefully don't miss at all. And I noticed that Ryan has a lot of missing assignments in this class. So if Ryan was my child, this is the place I would go and say, Ryan, let's make sure that your work is completed. If you scroll to the very bottom, it shows you the total grade and also shows you the weighted categories that the teacher has set up for different categories they're using to calculate the child's grade. So that's from the dashboard on the very right side, the bottom. So we're back again to our dashboard. Let's take each of the sections and go through a little bit more detail on what you can do in each of those sections. So we'll start on the very left side and go to the global navigation. You'll see that there are links for account, dashboard, courses, calendar, inbox, studio, and a help icon. We'll start from the account setup. And in here, you can change your notifications. You can change a couple of settings that you have for yourself. And then you can also see who you're observing as a student. And you can get a QR code so that if you were to create your account using the web portal, you can just get the QR code and scan that on your phone, and you can get login information for your phone directly from here. So let's start with notifications, because this I think is one, important to set up correctly so that you're not inundated, and two, there's a lot here. So Canvas sends notifications in 4 different ways. One is you're notified right away. So if something happens, you can set up an option to be notified immediately. The second option is to send a daily summary. Usually it comes around 5 p.m. In the evening. Send a weekly summary, usually on Saturday mornings between 10 a.m. and noon, or do not send any type of a notification. So those are the 4 options to choose on how frequently you're notified by Canvas. And then for each category, you can select how frequently you want to be notified. So we'll go in a little bit of detail here. One option you have immediately is show the name of the observed student in the notification. If you have multiple children, if you have more than one child who is enrolled in our district, I would recommend turning that on so that you are notified like, hey, this is a notification for Ryan. And if, you know, second child, third child. So if I have more than one children, I'm going to turn that on for myself. And then for anything to do that happens inside a course activities, these are the options that you would choose. I'm going to recommend some options here. Of course, you are welcome to set them the way that you think they work best for you. If you hover over any of these items, it actually gives you a little bit more information on what that option is for. Some of them are very easy to decipher, and some of them are a little bit confusing. So due dates for assignments, I have set an option for myself that I want to be notified at the end of the week. You can change it to daily or immediately. Anytime a teacher changes the due date, if you set it up to notify immediately, you're going to get an email notification. So when I was testing my account for Ryan and using an experiment account just to play around, I generated, as a teacher of that course and as the parent, 7 notifications in an hour. So I changed it to just send me 1 weekly so that I know what are the upcoming assignments for Ryan coming up. Grading policies, usually this is a once in a semester email that's generated. This is when a teacher changes their grading structure in Canvas. So grading policy, I've set it to send me a weekly, if there is one, to send me a weekly update on that. Course content, this is if a teacher makes a change to a page or makes any changes inside a quiz, not creating a new assignment, but making a change to any item in there. As a parent, I'm not sure how valuable that is. I think for students that is important, but as a parent, I would recommend putting that as to not be notified at all. Same thing with files. If a teacher is uploading a PDF file or a picture file that they want to use as a banner on their page, I don't think I want to be notified about that. So that, again, to put it as not to be notified. Announcements. If a teacher is posting an announcement, I would recommend getting a daily summary so that if 3 of my, if Ryan's teachers are creating an announcement, I would like at the end of the day, a summary of all those announcements. And announcements in Canvas are for reminders, quick updates like, hey, don't forget there's a test tomorrow. Remember to read chapter 1 through 3, those types of things that teachers can send an announcement about. Announcements created by you, and unfortunately, this is something I think should not be here because parents cannot create announcements inside Canvas. So that I have turned off. Grading. I think grading is an important one where anytime a grade update happens, you can be notified immediately or a summary at the end of the day. And then if you want to receive information about the grade itself, you can check that box and say, include that information. And because your student's grade is considered a confidential piece of information, Canvas needs your permission to send that information out because it's possible that that notification is going on your device where it may be viewable to anyone who's looking at your device. So if you want to have your child's grade included in the notifications, please check that box. The next 3, I have set them right now as a daily reminder. You most likely are not going to get any of these notifications because they are usually only sent to students. So if there's an invitation to any kind of collaboration, submission comments that a teacher is making, or a blueprint sync, this again is for instructors and administrators only, but you can change them to do not notify at all or change the setting. So those are specific to every course, and this is your global setting for how Canvas sends you notifications just for all your courses. The next few, some of them should not be here, but because Canvas has so many bells and whistles, they give you options here to also be notified for them. Discussions are something that are built into Canvas when a teacher creates a discussion prompt for students to engage with one another. That's something that you can be notified about. And if a discussion post that you're subscribed to, I personally don't know that as a parent, I want to be notified anytime my child's individual teacher is creating a discussion post. Conversations, again, this is emails. Canvas does not call an email, they call it conversations. So I have set that anytime someone sends me an email, I want to be notified immediately. So if a teacher responds to an email message that I've sent to them using Canvas, or if a general email was sent out, I want to be notified immediately. And so conversation added a new conversation, or if you are, there's a new email message in your inbox. Every user inside Canvas has their own inbox attached to them. So those I would recommend to be notified immediately. And then last option is conversations that were created by me, meaning an email that I sent to someone. Because I know that I sent the email, I don't want to be notified about it. So I have turned that to never send me notification. The next 3 areas are ones that I would recommend to not set any notifications because we're not currently using these features in Canvas. Their calendars in Canvas can be used to set up appointments for students. We're not using that yet because we are heavily invested in Academy and Teach More. We're not using this feature in Canvas at all. So for scheduling an appointment through the Canvas calendar, for all of these, I would recommend that the option was to set to never receive a notification because we're not using this feature at all. Group membership, we are just beginning to use groups within Canvas where students can be enrolled into a group. And so I would recommend that if you want to know that your child within their class, if a teacher is doing a history project and they're creating 4 different groups within their class for that history project, that's how groups are set up in Canvas. So if a teacher does that, do you want to be notified about that? So that's that setting there.
Abhi, may I interrupt you just for a moment?
Sure.
Because I'm getting multiple questions that I tried to answer separately, but since several are coming, we have several parents that are saying that they're not seeing what you're seeing, but a couple have figured out that it's because then they're going into a wrong place for notifications. So can you just backtrack a little bit? Because
Sure.
I think the parents are following at the same time as you're doing this, that to get into notifications, you actually have to go into your child's notification, right? So can you go back up just a little bit?
Absolutely. So what I did was I logged in.
How do you go where you are, please?
Sure. So I'll go back to the landing page that you land in Canvas. And this is called the dashboard. On the very left-hand side is course, it's called Global Navigation. And the very first item in there is account. When I click on account, and this is my account, when I click on my account, a little pop-up comes up, a course card comes up, and the very first item in there is notifications. So this is where I, as a parent, as an observer in Canvas, am setting my notifications that are going to be delivered to me. So I went to notifications, and I know I went in a lot of detail for each of these items, and I think it's important at the beginning to just go through these and set them so that you are getting the right notifications sent to you. They transfer back and forth between the app and the email notifications. Almost all of them do, not 100%. So you'll see some pop-up notifications, again, depending on how you set up your phone and what you allow your iPhone perhaps to give you notifications for, and also email notifications. And so that's the way you get it. So account and then notifications. Aida, before I go forward, are there any other questions that we should address right now?
I think okay, if we get email notifications, where on the website can we find the notification, not the settings?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
The notification is usually sent, and I'll go in the settings in just a moment to show you
Oh,
where
okay.
you send an email. The notification is sent via an email to you. So we'll go, and when we go to your
Okay, you
settings
will cover
setup,
that. Okay, great. Okay.
the last conferences, we're not using conferences right now in Canvas. A conference is similar to Zoom because we're using Zoom completely. So this is not a tool being used. So it doesn't matter what your setting is here. Well, there's no conference setup being used. And then the last one, the alerts. Administrative notifications, these are only for teachers and administrators. So you will not get any administrative notifications. You will also not get any content link editor error notification. The only time you'll get a notification is if your school principal or one of the administrators or somebody who is setting a school-wide announcement. That's a global announcement in Canvas, and that I would recommend setting up to be notified immediately. You know, for example, Campo Lindo may be doing something around PSAT information and they put it as a global notification. As a parent, I want to receive that right away. So that's all the different types of notifications. Again, under accounts, if I go to settings, there are a few settings that I can change as a parent. You'll notice that automatically it has your information, and on the right-hand side, it has the email address that's being used to notify you. And this is the email address that you use to create your account. If you wanted to add a second email address, you can click on this plus email and add an email to your account. So if you have multiple emails that you want to be sent notifications to, but this is the email address that Canvas will use to send you notifications. On the far right, you see a button that says Edit Settings, and there are a few settings that you can change here. You can add a personal pronoun to your name, and this is an option that's available to everyone in our system. You can change your system language, and this is for all the Canvas built-in links and drop-downs and things that Canvas has as a built-in feature. It doesn't translate the content of lessons that teachers are posting inside Canvas. So this is system language that you want to use. And then if you want to change your password, this is where you come. So you go to your account, your settings, edit settings, and you click on change password, and you can type in a new password here. Below, there are a few other items that are listed. I don't know if they're that useful for parents. This is standard items that come up. If you have an app connected to your account, it will show you which app, what system is using, and then I wouldn't worry about the tokens. Tokens are just generated every time you log into an app, and there's some other options at the bottom. And there are some notifications, alert notifications that you can change here, but to change how frequently you get a notification, you have to go to your account and go to your notification to change it there. So under accounts, there are notifications, there are settings. The third item that I want to show you under your account is who you're observing as a student. And so right now I'm observing one student, Ryan Reynolds. And if I wanted to add another child, this is where I would add the pairing code. So I would ask my child to generate that pairing code. I would come here and I would add that here. And then QR for mobile login. If you have not, if you did not set up your account using the mobile app, but the web, here's where I would come in and generate a QR code that I can quickly scan with my phone and then set up my account on my phone as well. So that's on the global navigation account setup for notifications, for settings, for who you're observing, and a mobile login. Again, if you ever want to come back to the landing page in Canvas, you can always click on dashboard and it shows you all the classes. Courses shows you the courses that are listed on your dashboard. So you can always click on the courses, get an overlay, and go directly into a course right away. Calendar shows you all of the calendars inside Canvas. You have a personal calendar that you can turn on and use it to set reminders, and you can turn on and off all the calendars that are attached to a student. So notice that there are colors attached to each of these calendars, and those colors correspond to each of the items. So if I wanted to see only information about one course, about the physics course, I can turn the other calendars off, and I can see Physics of the Universe has all of these items that have some type of a due date attached to them. Not necessarily just assignments, but anything that has a due date attached to them. And if I were to click on the item itself, it gives me the exact information that the teacher has entered, and I can click again on the title, and then it takes me into the course in the exact place where that assignment or whatever the due date item is, it takes me directly there. So the calendar shows you in calendar view. You can do it by week, by month. You can see an agenda. in the calendar summary on the top right. If you have multiple children that you're observing, this view can get a little bit overwhelming. And so in a moment, when we talk about some tips and tricks, I'm going to go over a couple of things on how to make it a little bit simpler for yourself. Inbox is where you will get all the emails that you're exchanging back and forth. So it'll come up here. Right now, I don't have any emails, but they are all set up here. In here, you can also write an email to a teacher. If you click on the compose button, it automatically asks you which course. And let's say I want to send an email to Miss Watson for the physics course. If I click on that, it gives me the option to who I want to send an email to. And as a parent, this is the same interface for all of us, for teachers, for administrators. So as a parent, you are able to send an email to the teacher, and it's Miss Watson automatically. So you don't have to know her email address, and then you can send an email directly here, and it will, Miss Watson will receive it. You can attach an attachment here. You can even record a audio or video comment if that's easier. So this is how communication happens between users inside Canvas. So it's in the inbox, and again, Canvas calls it conversations, not email. Studio is something that we as teachers use a lot, where you can record and have media available. It shows up here in the global navigation for everyone, and it may or may not be activated for your account. You as a parent most likely will never use the studio to record anything. Students are using it. We as educators, teachers, and administrators are using it heavily. Some of the links that we have on our district website can be found here. So search the Canvas guides at the very bottom. The links that I showed you on our district website also link here in the Canvas guides. And if you wanted to report a problem directly to Canvas, not to anybody here in our district, but if you want to report a problem directly to Canvas, this is the link that you would use to report a problem. And Canvas they are inundated right now. It's the start of the school year for the whole world, pretty much. And Canvas has grown from about 40 million users last year to more than 60 million users this year. They seem like they're taking over the world right now. So their response rate is not as good as it used to be. So that please, that's a caution that I would share. It's something that we've been working on and hounding Canvas to improve for us as well. So that, in summary, is all the items in global navigation. It's always there. You can always click on any of those links and come back to where you wanted to go.
Abhi, may I bring some questions to you? And some of this will bring us back a little bit to some things at the start of the navigation. Okay, so just going backwards to the calendar, is there a print view of the calendar? We see the month, we see the week. Is there a print option for the view? I don't see it myself, but wasn't sure if you knew of it.
There isn't any. You are able to subscribe to the calendar feed. You can copy that link, and you can use that to subscribe and put it in your Google Calendar, iCal, or Outlook. And all of those places have the option to print. Canvas natively does not have a print option for calendar itself.
And then going to the back to the notifications. When a parent gets a notification email, and in that email, whatever the notification is about, let's say it's about a grade or something got graded, and then they click on that notification. Some of them are getting error messages, meaning they can't access whatever the notification is about. So then they're going into the website and looking for it there. Is that the proper procedure, or where on the website can they find that notification? Whatever that, they just got notified about a changed grade or an announcement or something. If they can't click on it in the email, which I thought that should be working, and maybe that's just something we need to work through in Canvas. Where are those notifications? Where do they live? Where do those alerts live that they can easily access them?
So the error that you pointed out, it's a common error that we're experiencing, and we've notified Canvas on that error, and we're waiting to get a solution on that. Unfortunately, notifications do not reside in a central place inside Canvas. So if you go back to your dashboard, some of the notifications will come up here automatically, and you can see some of the items that are coming up. However, the solution that is working right now, and I apologize, this is somewhat of a workaround. We're hoping Canvas to fix it right away. So when a parent gets a email notification and it has the link like, hey, Ms. Watson posted an assignment, click here. And if you click on the link, it gives you that, looks like a Google login error, some type of an error, user does not exist. And that's happening because that notification that was generated is the same notification that goes out to students and parents. And we use a different login system for our students. We automatically have students logging in using Google account. And we don't use that system for parents because we don't create parent email accounts in the district. So because it's the same notification, Canvas thinks that everybody who's clicking on the notification has the same login method. The workaround is I would recommend logging into Canvas. So if you come to our district website, just log into Canvas and then click on your email notification. So then automatically Canvas knows that you're logged in and it brings you into that notification directly. So that's the current workaround. We're waiting for Canvas to give us a solution for this error. And it's a common error that parents are experiencing. So again, quickly, workaround is make sure you're logged into your Canvas account first, and then you can always click on the link inside the notification, and then it should not give you the error message.
Okay. And then the last thing I'll say is when the parents send the emails through Canvas to the teachers, will they get an alert in the regular email box when the teacher responds, or do they just need to constantly keep checking the Canvas inbox?
If a teacher responds to your email message in your account notifications, if for conversations you have turned on the notification, you will get the notification sent to you immediately. It will also include the teacher's response. And I believe, and if it doesn't work, we want to be told so. I believe you can just hit reply in your email in that notification, and it will send a response back to the teacher. So you don't have to necessarily come into Canvas to respond to that email message from the teacher. Again, you have to have the notification turned on for conversations, and then the notification will come to your email address. It will include the message from the teacher, and you can hit reply in your email to respond to that message that comes back to the teacher. And it will also come into your Canvas inbox. It will show up here in your Canvas inbox that you responded back this message.
Thank you. I think those are all the questions that have not been answered on.
Okay. I'll move forward, and I'm going to go to the middle section and the dashboard, and we're going to pick one of the courses and walk through that and go through a few examples. So I'm going to pick the very first one called Algebra to Advance with Ms. Watson. When you click on any course in Canvas on the website, it brings you to the home page for that course. At the very top of the home page are the most recent announcements that the teacher has posted. So Ms. Watson has posted announcements. It was posted on the most recent one was posted yesterday at 4:34 p.m. Then, depending on how the teacher has set up their homepage, many of our teachers are diving deep into this Bitmoji world of having an interactive slide present, so you can see that. And what you should see on every teacher's homepage is a weekly agenda. It might be in a table format, it might be in a list format, but something that tells you and the students what to expect that week. So that's the homepage. On the right-hand side, you're seeing for that course, specific course, what are the upcoming items. You can always click on the link for calendar and it will take you to the calendar directly. And there are two buttons on the top right. View Course Stream takes you to the list of all the recent announcements that have been posted by the teacher. And the second button is View Course Notifications. And this is where it gets even more complicated. Canvas allows you to customize your notifications to the course level. So we set up global notification settings first. That is pushed down to every single course. But if you wanted to have different settings for different courses, you can modify that here. And if I click on that View Course Notifications, it again brings me to notifications for that particular course. And it's very similar. Due date, it inherits all of them from the global settings that I set up, but I can change it here if I wanted to. And I click on it and then it notify immediately, daily summary, weekly summary, and notification off, the four settings for the frequency. If you've set them up in the global settings and you feel comfortable with that, you don't ever have to come to a course and change it here, but you could. Canvas does allow that functionality. I'm going to go back to the courses homepage. So this global navigation is always there. Then when I'm inside a course navigation is always there on the left-hand side. And it's decided upon which items show up here by the teacher. So home, modules, assignments, grades, and Zoom will most likely be the consistent items that you see in every single course. There might be a few more, but this should be there for every single course. So homepage, announcements, and the agenda. The second link on the left-hand side that I want to go through is modules. And this could be in different order, but the modules link, modules is Canvas's terminology for what we think of as units of study. So my first unit could be my first chapter. It could be that. It could be, hey, everything to do with parallel lines is my first chapter, or the quadratic formula, for example. But when I click on modules, it takes me into all the items that my student and the teacher have put in sequential order for that unit. So in Miss Watson's case, she's using modules for each week separately. So unit 2, week 2, September 8th through September 11th. And then in each of them are items that she has put in for students to see what is available there. So you can click through and you can click on each of those items and see what is available. So pretty much everything that your child sees and able to do in Canvas, you are able to see that. Now you can't do it for your child, of course, but you can see all the information. So she has a slideshow for quadratic word problems. You can go through that. And on the bottom, you will always see previous and next buttons, which correspond to that module and the sequence of items. You can always peruse through and click on the next item and go through what items are coming up. So, in class, live lesson, it's going to require logging into Google Drive, which as a parent probably will not have access to. Your child will. So, but going back to modules again, this is units of study, and in sequential order, organize what is coming up. You can always minimize a unit to see a little bit less information. There's a little drop-down arrow in the front of the title, and then you see, okay, unit 2, August 31st. So Miss Watson has organized her units in chronological order with the newest unit on top. That may not be the same in a different class. In other classes, it could be in chronological order, but the oldest item on top. In every course, you should see a unit that has to do with the very first few days of school, and it should have information about the course, about the teacher, course norms, description, grading. That should be in a unit most likely called welcome unit. So inside a course, modules, you're looking for a welcome unit to see details about the course, the syllabus, grading policy, all those kind of things. So that's modules inside a course. Assignments are in a list of all the upcoming assignments for the student. Grades brings you to the grades within that course. And the Zoom link, this is where students go to join a Zoom meeting. Now, we've sent a few different emails and notifications about Zoom and Zoom security. So our Zoom meetings right now are secured by authentication, and only students who have email addresses with Acalanes can join our Zoom meeting. So, but you will see the links that are here, so you can always remind your student, like, hey, you have class meetings that are in the join links, and the meeting IDs are all linked here. So that is, in a summary, is what you see inside a course. Again, the way I got there is from my dashboard, all the courses that I have, I clicked on one of the courses, and then I was able to jump in and see all the information. On the home page are the most recent notifications and the weekly agenda. The modules is full detail of what the teacher is teaching, their lessons, and in sequential order. Assignments shows all the upcoming items that are due for my child. Grades shows a detail of all the grades, items that have been graded for my child. And the Zoom area will show me the Zoom links for the meetings. Just to see a different version of a course, I'm going to go back to my dashboard and pick a different course. And actually, I'm going to pick a course that I know was just used in the summer just to practice something. So you'll notice that this is a different course where the order is a little bit different. So home, it doesn't have modules right after, but it has announcements, modules, grades, and Google Drive. This was a course in the summer. Again, Brian is not a real student. These are some of our practice classes that we were using to practice from. So that's what courses are inside. And again, on the right-hand side our upcoming assignments, and the link to view grades. So if you ever want to directly go to view grades for a child, you click on that link and it shows you a summary of all their grades. And if you click on one of the classes, it takes you into that class and look at the grades. Now, if you want to just look at grades and check on the grades, when you're inside the detail section, notice I'm inside the A2A Algebra 2 Advanced course with Ms. Watson. I'm in the grade section. There's a drop down, and I can switch between classes. So I don't have to go back to dashboard, click on the class, click on grades. I can just within the grade section, I can switch between all the classes that Ryan is enrolled in to see. And if I click on apply, it takes me from Algebra 2A to that English course, and then shows me all the summary. I can change, go to the physics course, click on apply, and see the grades. And then here, I can print a copy of the grade. So if I wanted to print it out or save it as a PDF and send it an email to somebody, I can click here and it will pop up a print dialog for you to see. At the bottom always is the final grade or the current grade in the class and the categories that the teacher is using, the weighted categories. So that's the course information and grades. Now,
oh, I'm sorry. May
yeah,
I?
I was going to pause here and ask some if there are questions, and then
Yes.
use the last few minutes for some tips and tricks.
Yeah, there are a couple of questions. I'm sorry. So let me actually ask you, in your tips and tricks, are you going to cover a little bit about how to, Canvas is complicated if you have more than one child.
Yes.
And how to navigate that issue of the messiness of seeing one kid at a time, or how to organize your dashboards, because that's the question that is coming through.
It seems like a perfect segue into our tips and tricks for Canvas.
Perfect. So I will let you do that. Okay.
So the very first thing I want to go over is the dashboard that I see. I can organize it in a couple of different ways. Course cards is my personal favorite view of the dashboard because it gives me a visual of like all the courses. I can rearrange these course cards in any way I want. If I don't want to see Algebra 2 as the first one, I can click on it, drag it, and move it to where I want it. So you can organize, let's say you have 2 children, and Ryan is one of them, and let's say Elizabeth is the other. You can put all of Ryan's courses first, and then drag and drop Elizabeth courses so that they are chunked in the same place. So that's one quick way to do that. Also on the dashboard at the very top, so it says dashboard, and on the right-hand side are these 3 buttons. Anytime you see these 3 buttons, and I've heard people call them the traffic lights, the hot dog, the snowman, depending on part of the country that you live in, everybody has a different name. But these 3 dots reveal additional menu options. So I can switch between card view, where they show up as individual cards, or I can change to recent activity, meaning recent announcements, upcoming assignments, so that I see for each of the courses. So if I click on that, it now changes into a list view, and it's 3 assignment notifications for the course that Ms. Watson is teaching. I can click on show more, and it shows me more information. Personally, I don't find this very helpful because this information also shows up on the right-hand side. So I like using card view and organizing them in the way that I want to see them. The other thing that you can do to make it even somewhat easier to know, like, okay, which is the course attached to Ryan and which are my courses attached to Elizabeth, is to use a color overlay. This color overlay is a default turned on. So you'll notice that all the pictures are a little bit hazy. If I turn the color overlay off, you can see now that's the real photos that the teachers used for their courses. But if I turn the color overlay on, and then I come to each of my courses and I can pick a color. So let's say I have Ryan and Elizabeth. For Ryan, I'm going to use the red color for all of his courses. Click apply, red, apply, click on the 3 dots for the course, click on the red color, apply. Same thing for this course, apply, and this course, apply. So now all of Ryan's courses are going to have that red overlay haziness to it. And then if I had a second child, Elizabeth, I could use a different color, blue or green perhaps. The benefit of doing that here, using the color overlay, is if when you go to the calendar, it will also color code the classes with the same colors that you picked. Now I haven't, I'll notice that all of my classes now for Ryan have the red. So in a calendar view, if I was looking at Ryan and Elizabeth, I would see red for Ryan and let's say green for Elizabeth. So it carries that color overlay over. That's one quick tip. Another trick to use is, by default, the names of these classes are what the teachers generated for them when they created the class. every single user, a student, a parent, every single person can give a course a nickname. So the other recommendation I have for you is click on the 3 dots. And in addition to the colors, you'll see an option for nickname. So I'm going to say this is Ryan, and it's his physics class. And click on apply. The second one, I'm going to click on the dots again and say this is Ryan, and this is his academy class. Click apply. This is Ryan. This is his algebra class, algebra 2. And click apply. And depending on what time of the day you're using Canvas, how busy the system is, these nicknames may show up immediately, or it may take them like 30, 40 seconds to refresh and come back again. The name now has Ryan in front, so I easily know that this is for Ryan, and then I can give nicknames to Elizabeth's and put my child's name in the front. Again, this carries over if you go to the calendar. Again, it might take a minute to refresh, but it will add the title in the front: Ryan's Academy, Ryan's Algebra 2 class, and Ryan's Physics class. Going back to my dashboard, when I click on grades, here, it doesn't change them because it's grabbing from a different place. But I would recommend that when you are in here, click on one of your children's courses, and you can see the grade. And here, it only shows you the options to pick different classes for your child. So unlike the app, where it has a summary for each student in a separate view, the web portal gives you lots of detail, but it doesn't organize it as nicely as the app does in the summary view. But those are a few quick tips and tricks to use in Canvas, to use color codes and to use nicknames so that you can easily identify who is in which class and then rearrange them in the order that you want to rearrange them in. So those are the quick tips and tricks we have for how to use the web portal. I want to emphasize Canvas has lots and lots of tools. We are in the beginning stages of utilizing all of the tools. There's a learning curve for our staff, for our students, and of course for our parents as well. So on our district website, the page under parents and Canvas is our Canvas support page. We will keep adding more information here as we make more videos or helpful documents available, and we will post them here. So that's the page that I recommend that you come to frequently if you are looking for Canvas. And this is, again, the page that you will come to most likely to log into your account as well. So the blue icon is for the parent login, and then coming back to your dashboard are all the classes that you can see. So I'm going to pause here and use the last few minutes that we have to answer any last minute questions that we have not yet answered.
I'm trying to think if we had answered, I believe, the initial question of kind of how to organize and see one student at a time. I think these are the tips and tricks that you answered. And I believe the filtering the dashboard by student, I think you got that as well. Questions about any glitches or notifications, how will we know if it's fixed? What we can do is in our weekly email update, we can put that in there, maybe under a section of kind of follow up to the webinar. Here are some things, and maybe I can just include it there, because otherwise I don't have your emails of the participants in here, so I'll just put it in there. And I think those are the questions. It seems like we have answered everything that has come through the Q&A. Oh, is there a way to see a summary of missing assignments like in School Loop? Yes, I believe so, right? Well, not overall, right? Abhi, go
Correct.
ahead.
It's done by course. So if you go inside a course and you click on grades, it will highlight with a red missing badge anything that is missing. It does not send you, unfortunately, Canvas does not send a summary of all missing assignments from all classes.
Yeah. We do have some questions with regards to teachers using other systems that complement or integrate with Canvas. I do think that Canvas does a lot that School Loop could not do, or that Google Classroom couldn't do, and therefore we had to move to a learning management system that is Canvas, but it doesn't do everything. So, our math teachers, for example, use a test bank that integrates with Canvas. We still have a testing system called Illuminate that integrates with Canvas. We do try and make those things seamless, meaning that they are all within Canvas, so students actually shouldn't be leaving Canvas. They shouldn't be leaving Canvas to use Google Docs or submit assignments and so on. If there are separate websites used or completely separate systems being utilized outside of the textbooks or things like that, we do want to know about that. There are some things that we are still working out on how the integration works. And a textbook is, for example, a perfect example. Many of our textbook publishers have their online systems that we want our teachers to use, like a Spanish online where they can practice Spanish or use practice problems there. And we're trying to work that integration through with Canvas so that the student doesn't have to leave Canvas. And those links are right there, but it does take them out to a different system. So those are the things that those are the little glitches that we're still trying to work out. Now, that may cause some issues with regards to you being able to see very specific things about an assignment. You will be able to see a final grade, but you may not be able to see the details of the assignment.
If I can just add to that, I think there are still many tools like Google Apps for Education. It is a phenomenal tool that we still want to utilize to a certain degree, like Google Docs and being the ability to share and collaborate. That's a wonderful, wonderful tool. It does integrate into Canvas, and teachers are still utilizing Google tools within Canvas to have students participate and share with each other. So that will still continue because Google accounts are attached to specific users, and you may, you do not have a Google account within the district as a parent. Your child can always show you what the specific assignment is, but you won't be able to see the full detail like Aida said. Our textbooks, we have many of our textbooks that are available online, and not just as a textbook, but within the textbook, there's lots of interactive activities, and each of those accounts are created by the company that owns a textbook. So for example, our math textbooks, our algebra, geometry, they're from a company called Big Ideas. Big Ideas has their own web portal that links and connects to a student account. And because we're changing so many things and using a brand new learning management system, we at the beginning of this year decided that we still want to keep our textbooks in Clever. That's a single sign-on, and students can still link and click and single sign-on, meaning that they don't have to have another account, so it should automatically log them in. Those decisions of how a textbook integrates are made by the company. So we are working directly with individual companies to see what their integration is, what it looks like, and to see if they actually have an integration designed and built for Canvas. Clever is the largest textbook integration platform in the world, particularly in the United States. So Clever has most of the textbook companies, when they build their online textbook, they will design an integration for Clever. They don't necessarily design for every single individual learning management system, Canvas, Blackboard, School Loop, Schoology, all of those things. So we're slowly working with that. So that is one place where integration is still happening. And
I will just answer these last couple of things with regards to notifications of assignments. There's a couple of different questions about that. If you're, as an observer, you can see what the assignments are, right, that your student has to do. And if your student has submitted them, you can actually see that as an observer if your student has submitted the assignment. Now, if they're submitting that assignment through a textbook app, for example, if I as a math teacher have said, hey, you need to turn in this assignment through the Big Ideas textbook, you will not see if they have actually submitted the textbook assignment. So you may have to, you will know what the assignment is and you'll have to check in with your student. But if the assignment is actually done through the Canvas, you'll be able to see if they have submitted it or not. And then another version of the question about if there was a late assignment submitted, Do they need to email the teacher that, hey, I've submitted a late assignment, and they do not? This was something that was very frustrating last spring during Google Classroom time, where there were actually no notifications to our teachers. So teachers would get late assignments and they would not know about it. They wouldn't know where to find them. They would get no notifications about it. Canvas actually notifies our teachers and puts it in the late assignment bucket for them to go like, hey, these have just come in. So no notification is necessary from a student. Those automatically get folded in there. Abhi, if you organize a dashboard on the website, will it carry to the app?
I don't believe it does, because the app is set up in a very different way from the website. The app, when you look at your login screen, the app by default has your students' courses, just the name and the current grade for the course, so it won't automatically. But what the app does do, in my opinion, better than the website, is it only shows you information for one child at a time. So when I log in, I have to pick between Ryan or Elizabeth, and it only shows me Ryan's information or Elizabeth's information. They're not mixed in together. So that, in my opinion, is a better system to see a quick summary of how my child is doing. So I want to repeat that part. Like if you are looking for like, hey, very quickly, I want to see how Ryan is doing, I would recommend using the app, because you just see one screen with all the class titles and the current grade for each of those classes. And you just toggle between each student and you can see a different screen for each child. If you want to know more detail, like, hey, I really want to read this assignment and the description that the teacher gave, and you look through the slideshow, that I would recommend using the website for, because the app may not give you all the detail. Its app is designed for quick access, quick information. The website is designed to give you full detail, almost the exact same view as a student does. So with that, I know we are beyond our 1 hour mark. So I would recommend, if there are questions that you have as parents that we have not answered, please feel free to email them directly to myself or to Ms. Glimi, and we will respond to them. Either if we are getting the same type of questions, we'll put them in our weekly update that we send out every week, or we'll directly respond to you via email. So with that, I want to thank you all for participating. Again, this webinar, as soon as it's processed, we'll post it on our school district website and make it available for you. So thank you very much, and we appreciate it. Bye-bye.